Alrighty. Okay. Welcome to all you YouTubers. This is John Lobdell. I read poetry every Wednesday at 6 Pacific time with a few of my friends here, and then I put it on my YouTube channel. If you're listening there, it's nice. You can subscribe if you want. Okay, I like to do a little body-mind centering. I do that by rubbing my palms till they get a little warm. And put them right over my eyes so they fit nicely. Just breathe. A couple times. Right. My glasses. Okay. All right. So I did not write any poetry this week. I've been doing a lot of essay writing lately. But I'll get back to poetry. Yeah, I'll read a few books, a few things out of my books. I got my new book from the printer, but I had to send it back to the editor to make some changes, so I don't have it with me. Well, I think this is probably apropos for the days we live in. Strange thoughts. Sometimes I have strange thoughts. Sometimes I wonder if it's those damn suits. The way the jackets throw your shoulders back, the way ties push your head up and restrict your breathing, the way they give you a gray self-importance. I was seduced once. I needed to wear one at work. People at the grocery and bank started calling me sir. I was in the elite club. Then one day I saw my boss frowning. I had dirt under my fingernails. I had been gardening. I went back to the good honest sweat of carpentry. People looked at me indifferently again. Not invisible like a street person, but just an ordinary guy. Not to be feared, admired, or disdained, just me. Sometimes I have strange thoughts. What if the CEO showed up with a t-shirt with puppies on it? Would he, could he, sign the papers that chained a young girl to a sewing machine? Or allow his black oil to seep into virgin jungle? It would be a small, silly thing, but maybe that's best. Big things put us in those suits, make us feel important, but also weirdly impotent, like we're in a colorless prison. Sometimes I have strange thoughts. What if for a day these powerful people loosened their ties, took off their black shoes, felt the earth, put their manicured fingers in the dirt, and planted a single seed? I like that one. White flowers. The pears that begin in spring as white flowers are falling now. Too many to eat. The bees and flies are feasting while I sit here trying to write a poem. Practical people would say, God would love you more if you bottled the pears. I could eat them all winter long. You can't eat your words. Maybe they're right. Years ago, my house caught fire and was caught in a firestorm. When I returned, I found my book still existed. The pages so fragile to touch and totally white. The heat had burned away the words. Idle daydreamer, third son, ash boy sitting by fire, watching the words disappear, seeing what's left, the white flowers in the spring. That did happen to me. I was in the big Oakland Hills fire, and I went back and I looked at my books. They were all totally white. They still existed, but they were all the ink had been burned off. Let's see, what else have I got? Here's one I wrote for my dad. Dad, I heat up a can of soup, sit down in front of the TV. I'm just like my dad now. Probably I always was. That's why I judged him mercilessly. Even as I obsess over bank account as he did, wonder if I have enough money until I die. My future is narrowed as his did. Dad actually did a little bit better than I mean in worldly affairs. I was always of two minds. Oh, I made just enough money, but some seed of discontent sprouted in me. I think I saw it sometimes in Dad too, but it remained sleeping in his melancholy. I found a teacher, a fierce second father. The seed sprouted and struggled to life. My worldly future has narrowed. I'm catching up to Dad. Soon I'll follow him to death. I remember the day he died. I saw him being led up a path by two angels. Mercy, I saw, has no judgment. When we meet next time outside time, we will be the same. Oh, that's the end of that poem. Okay.
I love that word melancholy. It just kind of says everything.
Yeah, I'm kind of a melancholic. I'm not a depressive, but I'm a little bit of a melancholic. I think I got it from my mother, I think. Yeah, let's see. Want to read one more of mine. Pressure. It's warm enough here, sitting by a bench by the bay. I can see cold gray fog pouring under the Golden Gate Bridge. I know hot weather inland creates low pressure, pulling air towards it. I'm feeling pressure myself. The dry desert of my heart likes watching this cool fog approach, as if it's I that's inviting it. And when a boat suddenly appears coming out of the grayness, I can't quite remember why I was unhappy. Well, let's see. Okay, I don't see any other participants. That's good. Let's see, you sent me something, I'm sure, Linda.
I did.
There's a couple. Which one do you want me to read? I've got time and I've got morning.
Time. That's a new one.
You want time? Okay. All right, this is by Glenda Reed. Time. It's hard to be light in sea of darkness. It's hard to be sane walking this path of insanity. That's a good line. The world seems turning oh so much faster, with more time behind than time left to spend. I've measured out my life with a silver spoon, yet I watch the birds out my window and can't help but muse that their only mission is to survive the day, with no thought for tomorrow or what it might bring, be it rain or snow or just sun-drenched glory. And where do they go when a storm starts to rage? I've wondered that too. Some of them perch outside my window, and I smile that I've provided shelter for my tiny winged friends. I see that my light may not shine just for me, that sanity may visit a path unannounced. Night smothers day with indigo hue. I close the book of another diurnal course, and having no wings, I think of tomorrow, wonder my place in that expectation, in hope springs eternal, that I will arrive, that my eyes will open, my breath will come, to be measured in spoonfuls, insanity saved. Very good as usual, Glenda.
Thank you. It all started with one line that was night smothers day.
Oh
That's
yeah,
where
yeah,
it came from.
I like that one. With indigo hue, you added
Mhm.
on. Mhm. I like the last two lines. To be measured in spoonfuls, insanity saved. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, you inspire me to start writing poetry again.
It has been kind of hard to write for some reason. I've had, well, I used to write one every week, and now I'm like, do I really want to write one this week? I
Yeah,
don't know what it is.
I think it'll come back to me anyway. I just needed to take a little break. Let's see. Well, let's see what else I have here. This is by Jane Kenyon. Little one, what came to me? I took the last dusty piece of china out of the barrel. It was your gravy boat, with a hard brown drop of gravy still on the porcelain lip. I grieved for you then, as I never had before. Oh, that's a moment, huh?
Mhm.
I know I've heard. Here's one. Thinking of Madame Bovary. That's an old novel, right? By some French feller.
Uh-huh.
The first hot April day, the granite step was warm. Flies droned in the grass. When a car went past, they rose in unison, then dropped back down. I saw that a yellow crocus bud had pierced a dead oak leaf, then opened wide. How strong is appetite for the luxury of the sun. Oh, I like that one. Everyone longs for love's tense joys and red delights. And then I spied an ant dragging a ragged, disemboweled wing up the warm brick walk. It must have been it must have been the Methodist in me that leaned forward, preceded by my shadow, to put a twig just where the ant was struggling with its own desire.
Mm.
Yeah, let's read another of her. I like her. I have to be careful though. I read her once and she wrote a very sad poem about her life. But philosophy in warm weather. Now all the doors and windows are open and we move so easily through the rooms. Cats roll on the sunny rugs, and a clumsy wasp climbs the pane, pausing to rub a leg over her head. All around physical life reconvenes. The molecules of our bodies must love to exist. They whirl in circles and seem to begrudge us nothing. Heat, Horatio, heat makes them put this antic disposition on. This year's brown spider sways over the door as I come and go. A single poppy shouts from a far field, and the crow, beyond alarm, goes right on pulling up the corn. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I keep coming back to Robert Frost, even though he's kind of difficult. Spring pools. These pools that, though in forests, still reflect the total sky almost without defect, and like the flowers beside them chill and shiver, will like the flowers beside them soon be gone, and yet not out of any brook or river, but up by roots to bring dark foliage on. The trees that have it in their pent-up buds to darken nature and be summer woods. Let them think twice before they use their powers to blot out and drink up and sweep away these flowery waters and these watery flowers from snow that melted only yesterday. All right. This one by Frank O'Hara. He's a New York poet, a little bit different than Frost. Anxiety. I'm having a real day of it. There was something I had to do, but what? There are no alternatives, just the one something. I have a drink. It doesn't help. Far from it. I feel worse. I can't remember how I felt, so perhaps I feel better. No, just a little darker. If I could get really dark, richly dark, like being drunk, that's the best. That's open as a field. Not the best, but the best except for the impossible pure light, to be as if above a vast prairie, rushing and pausing over the tiny golden heads in deep grass. I wonder what the little golden heads are. I like it when a poem just turns at the end and it's something totally different.
Yeah.
Let's see, here's one by Jane Hirshfield. Three mornings. In Istanbul, my ears 3 mornings heard the early call to prayer. At 4 light, heard birds then, water birds and tree birds, birds of migration. Like 3 knowledges, I heard them, incomprehension, sweetened distance, longing. When the body dies, where will they go? Those migrant birds and prayer calls, as heat from sheets when taken from a dryer, with voices of the ones I loved, great loves and small loves, train wheels, crickets, clock ticks, thunder. Where will they? Where will they, when in fragrant tumbled heat, they also leave? It's hard to read. Interesting, though. Oh, here's another Margaret Atwood. Let's see what. Journey to the Interior. There are similarities, I notice, that the hills, which the eyes make flat as a wall, welded together, open as I move to let me through, become endless as prairies, that the trees grow spindly, have their roots often in swamps, that this is a poor country, that a cliff is not known as rough except by hand, and is therefore inaccessible. Mostly that travel is not the easy going from point to point. A dotted line on a map, location plotted on a square surface, but that I move surrounded by a tangle of branches, a net of air and alternate light and dark at all times, that there are no destinations apart from this. There are differences, of course, the lack of reliable charts, more important, the distraction of small details, your shoe among the brambles under the chair, where it should be lucent, white mushrooms, and a paring knife on the kitchen table, a sentence crossing my path, sodden as a fallen log. I'm sure I passed yesterday. Have I been walking in circles again? But mostly the danger. Many have been here, but only some have returned safely. A compass is useless, also trying to take directions from the movements of the sun, which are erratic, and words here are as pointless as calling in a vacant wilderness. Whatever I do, I must keep my head. I know it is easier for me to lose my way forever here than in other landscapes. That's the kind of poem you could read over and over.
Something different each time.
Journey to the interior, yeah. A journey to the interior is a little... There's no map. I think it's down to... Oh, I have one more. What do I have here? Oh, the one by Merwin. Rain Travel. Awake in the dark and remember it is the morning when I must start by myself on the journey. I lie listening to the black hour before dawn, and you are still asleep beside me, while around us the trees full of night lean, hushed in their dreams that bears us up asleep and awake. Then I hear drops falling one by one into the sightless leaves, and I do not know when they began, but all at once there is no sound but rain, and the stream below us roaring away into the rushing darkness. Yeah, another kind of travel. He says I'm running out of time. Okay. Well, let's read a Mary and be on our way. This is Mary Oliver. I'm feeling fabulous, possibly too much so, but I love it. It's spring and the mockingbird is teaching himself new ways to celebrate. Boy, I've had a noisy couple mockingbirds around my house lately. It's spring and the mockingbird is teaching himself new ways to celebrate. If you can imagine that gusty talker, and the sky is painting itself a brand new robust blue, plenty of which is spilling into the pond. I don't weigh very much, but right now I weigh nothing. My mind is, I guess you would say, compounded. One voice is saying, it's mockingbird. Another voice is saying, the pond never looked this blue before. Another voice says, there couldn't be a more splendid world, and here I am existing in it. I think just for the joy of it, I'll fly. I believe I could. And yet another voice says, can we come down from the clouds now? And some other voice answers, okay, but only for a while. You know what? I think I'll end on that one. That was cute.
Yeah.
Come down from the clouds. But I don't want to. Well, Glenda, it was lovely again to read with you. And Ellen, thank you for hanging in there with us.
Thank you, John.
Okay, we'll see you. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Bye, Ellen. There it is.